So how are these scammers overseas linked to organized crime in the U.S. and who's laundering whose money?
Yeah, it's really crazy because it starts with like a phone call, right? Do you want me to go kind of through how the scam works itself?
Yeah.
So like traditionally the original scam was like a pop-up scam. So you're on your computer and you're surfing the web and all of a sudden you get this error code on your screen. And it says it's Microsoft. There's a virus on your computer. You need to call support. Now the origin of this comes from their call centers overseas in like India, for instance. And they were legitimate call centers, like help desk call centers where they help fix, computer problems and things like that. So I had an insider guy that I've talked with before, and he said, like, here's the thing. You have Nike shoes, for instance, and you scuff them up and you want to go get them fixed. You could go to Nike and it's going to be really expensive. Or you could go to my shop on the corner and it'll be, 90% less than what it would be at Nike, if that makes sense.
Right.
So they started just being cheaper tech support. But then from there, they were like, well, what if we could force people to start coming to our support based off of a fake premise? So that's where these pop-ups started. So they would create pop-ups to go on people's computers. So there's some, like a grandma is surfing the web. She's on Facebook. These scammers have figured out ways to pretty much buy ad space and, serve these pop-ups. There's malware on websites and stuff like that, but it'll serve these pop-ups. And then grandma gets a pop-up. She calls these scammers up. They tell her she has a virus on her computer. The problem is there's no virus. It's a trick. So they've told them it used to start with like, hey, you have a virus. We'll clean your computer for like $500.
Sure.
So that was like the original game. That's what they used to do. And then it evolved over the years. And this is like probably a multi-decade problem now, that this was just in the shadows. Nobody really ever talked about it. Then it evolved to, hey, we're the computer company. We're calling you up because we're actually going to refund you your money. We're going out of business. It sounds really crazy, but this is one of their best scams that they do. So they call up the grandma and they say, hey, we are Norton, for instance, or Amazon or PayPal. We're going out of business. We're going to refund you a charge on your account. So let's say it's like $300. So what they do is they connect onto grandma's computer and they're giving her a refund of her money back into her account. Right. So track with me here.
Right.
So $300 is supposed to go back in grandma's account. What they do is because they have access to the granny's computer, they can manipulate her screen. So she logs into her bank account. They have software on her computer.
They're like TeamViewer or something?
Yeah, TeamViewer, a bunch of all these different remote tools. So they load like TeamViewer on there and they hide the screen so she can't see anything. And that $300 now becomes $30,000, however much she has in her account. They can manipulate the bank to look a certain way.
So they get her to log into her bank account?
Yep.
Got it. Okay.
And this is just for the refund purposes. They'll lie and say, hey, we don't see anything, but they see everything. So the trusting grandma that's like 83 years old, she's like, okay, you can have access to my $400,000 account, right? So they see that. And then they're like, okay, ma'am, no, we actually, instead of 300, we gave you 30,000 or 300,000. You need to actually give us that money back as soon as possible. And what they're doing is they're just like tricking the system and they're transferring money between like a savings and a checking account. So grandma goes to the bank, she takes out the 30,000, the 300,000, whatever the dollar amount is. And then she used these money launderers. So like the cash pickup I was talking about.
They convince them to drive to the local branch and pull out cash.
Yes.
That's insane.
And it's honestly unbelievable when you when I tell these stories back, it doesn't seem real. And we have like a lot of people in our videos, like in the comments where they say, it's like kind of like shaming somebody, like, how could you fall victim to that? But they sound preposterous, but it happens every single day. And granny's going to the bank and they're telling her, hey, lie to the bank and tell the bank branch that you're buying a house or you're buying a car or you're putting your kid in college or something.
Right.
And they're taking out huge amounts of cash and they're either transferring it into Bitcoin, buying gift cards, giving cash to somebody else, or they're buying gold bars now. Yeah.
Dude, I told this story a couple days ago on the podcast, actually, because this happened to me a couple months ago. I was trying to, and I bank with like one of the top 3 banks in the US, and I was trying to transfer a significant amount of money from one of my checking accounts to Coinbase, and I went. First of all, I just tried to do the wire online. Didn't work. Went to the local branch, brought my ID, everything, sat down with the guy. I'm like, hey, I need to wire this amount of money from this checking account to this account on my Coinbase account. Like, oh, okay, cool. What's the doodle? Did the whole thing.
Yeah.
Okay, see you later. It should go through or whatever. I get a call 2 hours later from the bank. They're saying, hey, this is the fraud department. We want to confirm this, this, and this. How did you find out about Coinbase? How long have you known about crypto? What was the color of your first car? What's your sperm count? Like everything. And I answered all the questions. And then 2 hours later, declined. You can't do it.
Really?
Go back to the bank the next day. I'm like, dude, I need to wire this money. And they're like, okay, we'll try it again. I don't know what's going on. Long story short, I end up going to the actual branch like 6 times to try to wire that money. And every single time, I got kicked bad by the fraud department.
Yeah.
And they were asking me these obscure questions like, what year did you first learn about Coinbase? What type of crypto are you buying? Like all these weird questions. And I got the sense that like they just didn't want me to take money out of my account. They wanted money they didn't want me to take money out of my my checking account for their bank. And eventually, like a month later, I was finally able to get the wire to go through. But it was exhausting.
Yeah, it's so we listen in on phone calls of these scams that are happening. I could actually pull one up if you want later on. And a lot of times these banks will there's no excuse. They'll just let it happen. So
yeah,
I'm very surprised that they put you through so many, hoops, but usually it's like they just go in and get the cash out immediately. And I've seen wire transfers that are in 7 figures. I've seen they're having victims buy gold bars now, like gold bullion, and like ordering it. And these scammers are showing up at these victims' houses and collecting like however many ounces of gold bars.
These scammer companies that are based overseas, they will have proxies in the US in every state they can contact.
Yes.
That's so crazy.
Yeah, it's called Havala, which is like it's like an kind of an ancient money transfer, not ancient, but it's like a tried and true money transfer system. And Havala is a way in like kind of these Asian countries. It's all built off of trust, and they kind of keep a ledger. So you have like party A and party B. And obviously, if one is in the US and one is in India, they can't physically transfer the money necessarily. So they keep this ledger amongst each other. But now with like crypto and stuff, it's getting a lot easier for them to do it. But before with like cash or gift cards, it was like, hey, you have a victim in the US, you have a money launderer in like California. A lot of them are in California and New York. And then you have a scammer in India. So scammer in India is scamming 50,000 from this granny. So she sends a box of 50K to California. That guy takes 20% and then puts it in an account overseas, and it's all hidden from the government. So they don't pay taxes. They don't get in trouble. It's like I said, we uncovered it's still under investigation, so I can't say all the specifics, but it's 9-figure ring that does this. It's unbelievable. The network that is out in the States that does this, they're a well-oiled machine. And again, they have people driving, and these are foreign nationals that are driving all around the U.S. in rental cars, Airbnbs. They're flying people around to pick up cash, gold bars, gift cards, and send crypto back and forth. And it's all under the nose of the government. They use our U.S. banks against us. They use our shipping companies. I won't name any companies, but you name a company, they use them. And nobody knows, nobody can stop it. Well, we can stop it, but.
Wasn't there a case of some hackers that got extradited to the U.S.?
Yes.
In somewhere in Africa or something?
Yes.
What was that story?
Yeah. So there was, they're called sextortionists. So there's a lot of these call centers. So we go after Indian call centers a lot, but there are call centers in different countries, obviously. And this was a call center in Africa, and they were targeting teenagers. So what they do is they get them on these social platforms and start messaging, things with them.
I've gotten those before.
Send me a picture.
I get a Twitter account of some young girl she's following 4,000 people, and she has 200 followers, and she's like, "Hey, cutie,"
right? Yeah,
trying to bait you into
one
it's so dumb,
one
so
tweet,
obvious. Yeah.
And so they get these people on like Snapchat and stuff like that. And they're messaging with them. They send pictures and then they ask for pictures back. And then they say, hey, we got you. We've got your nudes or whatever.
Right.
And we're going to send it out to your entire friends list or all the people you know. And if you don't give us money, we're going to send it out right now. Your life will be ruined, et cetera, et cetera. And the teenagers are in such shame. There is one, I think he was in Wisconsin, and he ended up taking his life. And they don't tell their parents because they're in such shame. Jesus Christ. It's like again, I'm if anything, I want people to know that this is not about like a couple $100 in gift cards anymore. It's like, not to be too dramatic, but it is life and death. Like people are taking their lives because of the shame that is involved with these scams. And to target, teenagers that they don't have any money in the first place. And to target them from the sextortion route of like, give us money or else, give us $200, give us and what they do is like, they get that first 100 or 200, then it's give us 300, give us 300 more, give us 400. And then they start to ratchet up like the attacks of like, hey, this is your mom's name. This is your dad's name. This is your address.
Right.
And the kids they don't know how to mentally can't even handle social media. Like, how do you handle somebody extorting you out of that money as a teenager?
Right. Yeah. 2 Nigerian hackers were extradited to the U.S. to face charges related to sextortion ring that led to the suicide of a 17-year-old Michigan high school student, Jordan DeMay. The brothers were extradited on August 13, 2023, and entered not guilty pleas during their arraignments. Jesus Christ. They targeted over 100 victims. DeMay's being the most tragic. That's so crazy, dude.
Like when I'm on phone calls with scammers, none of the stuff that they say bothers me. I've been doing it for 6 years now.
You've heard everything.
I've heard them say the most ridiculous things. They don't bother me. But when I think about like what made me change to go from like prank calls into like this more, I guess, offensive approach, like somebody has to do it. You know what I mean?
Yeah, of course.
So like is here, like the victim stories and stuff like this, like somebody has to fight back. And that's why we call like taking the fight to these guys, joining the fight against these guys, because it's literally everyday battle. It's like good versus evil. And a lot of people will say, yes, it's like maybe like underprivileged countries and stuff like that, but there's got to be a different way. Like, there's got to be a different way to make money.
I got one a couple months ago where it was just an email. And it was this long email that basically said the dude was trying to tell me he has video of me from my webcam jacking off on camera, watching porn or something like that, and he's going to release it to the whole world.
Yep. Send me money to Bitcoin.
Oh God. Yeah, exactly. Send me this money or else everyone's going to see this. All your loved ones are going to see this. And I was just like, and it was like such an arrogant email. The dude was like, he was just being such a dick in the email. It smelled such bullshit. And what I do when I get emails like that, I'll go on Reddit.
Sure.
And I'll just like copy and paste the subject line. And then usually you'll see like tons of threads, like, oh yeah, I've gotten these.
100%. Yeah. We like to take those and send links back to them that hopefully they click on, and then we can see their computers. So
that's amazing.
We like to flip the script on them a lot. And I think part of, like our channel is obviously called Scammer Payback. So it's one thing to protect people, but to get payback at some of these guys, like exposing them, and like we'll get on their cameras and we'll show their faces and we'll show their Instagram and we'll show them flaunting money.
Dude, the one that you did, the one, I forgot which one it was. I forget who the guy's name, but you did one I watched last night of this dude. You got onto his webcam and then you were like just terrorizing him for weeks, to where he just had to shut his laptop down for like 4 weeks.
It's fun, man, because like they don't suspect it.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden, like imagine you're sitting here, it's like 3 a.m, because they're like 10.5 hours ahead of us. It's 3 a.m. You're trying to get $20,000 from somebody. And all of a sudden your laptop, the little light goes on. And you're like, well, that's me. I'm turning the camera on because I'm taking your picture. And the next day, maybe he doesn't think anything of it. The next day he's trying to scam somebody, and all of a sudden we start talking through his computer to him. Can you imagine how freaked out you would be? And then on top of that,
And you're like talking to him in like a muffled, like terrifying sounding voice.
From my computer through his computer. We can talk to him. We can do all sorts of things. Imagine we could find your exact location in a matter of minutes. I just get on the phone with you. You think that you're connecting to my computer, but we got a connection back to yours like within seconds. And then we can find out exactly where you are. So anywhere in the world, we can find your coordinates within minutes. So we find these guys, and like India's starting to come around where we collect information on these guys and then send it over, and then they'll go and like raid some of these places and get some of these guys arrested.
So the Indian authorities actually crack down on it?
Yeah. They're trying, because a lot of it is like saving face, in my opinion, because the YouTubers in this space, we put a lot of pressure on scammers, especially these. So there's some really big call centers. Like, I don't know if you're familiar with Kolkata, India, but it's kind of it's in like West Bengal, which is like on the, I guess the eastern side, not fully northeastern, but eastern side, like kind of near Bangladesh. And Kolkata became this hub for scams. Now what happens is you have this rich call center boss that's in a huge, like a beautiful building, like big, beautiful building, right? And there's legitimate businesses running in the heart of Kolkata. And that's during the day. And they have computers and phone systems, and they might be a marketing company, or they might actually do like, you know, call center jobs where they take phone calls and stuff and help actual customers.
Just actual, like legitimate telemarketing.
Yes. Legitimate. You might be annoyed by it, but it's like legitimate.
Right.
And then at nighttime, it's 10 o'clock at night. Nobody's working in India except for the scammers. So then that business then flips to a scam call center at nighttime, and you have a whole nother shift. And these huge buildings and these huge businesses that are fronts for a scam operation
that make the
real
they have
money. 1,000 scammers in a building, and nobody says anything about it. Nobody does anything about it because there was a lot of corruption that was going on for many years. So a lot of the YouTubers, we started putting pressure on the city from a lot of our videos. One of the videos that we did, myself, Jim Browning, Mark Rober, there's like hundreds of millions of views on our videos together. And it highlighted these call center bosses and these buildings that were running these huge operations they're making a lot of money.
You were able to figure out who the bosses were?
Yeah. So there's a group of people that had insane access at the time to these guys' computers. And we actually will even send somebody into the call center. So this is like...
What? You filmed this?
Oh, yeah.
Oh God. Like, could you imagine they're on the phone trying to scam you, and then like someone taps on their shoulder?
Yeah.
Hey, motherfucker.
Yeah. Yeah. Like on the Mark Rober, he actually, like, he did some pranks inside one of the call centers. So he had like roaches and all these kinds of things going throughout the call center, and like fart spray and all the stuff. So he did some of that. But like all the jokes and pranks aside, we will actually have people in these call centers. Like right now, myself and my team, we have 15 call centers around India that we're watching right now. And they're running various scams all day, every day. And it's probably 600 or 700 computers of scammers over in India.
When you say you're watching them, do you mean you're tracking everything they're doing on their computers, or do you have like people on the ground there? Or like...
Yeah, we're tracking everything. We watch their scams. We do things to mess with them and troll with them. So we play pranks on them ourselves and have fun. We stop any kind of scam that's going on without kind of burning the operation. Because really the long-term goal is to have India hopefully raid these call centers. Like in Kolkata, what had happened was all this pressure was put on them, and they ended up raiding these call centers. And the bosses, there's two bosses, two main ones. One was named Rajesh Goenka, and he ran a company called VRM. Another was Kunal Gupta out of Kolkata, and they had all these other companies. So they had like Kunal had like a poker team and like a horse club, and he had a hotel on the west side of India. So he was moving all of his money, obviously. And
so is he a real estate guy?
Yeah, he turned it into real estate, and they seized all of his money. So he had millions of dollars that was stolen money, and they seized all of it, and they're facing charges. And I don't know what will happen with it, but at least there's some kind of justice that's happening. So we're trying to replicate this. We had another call center in December 23 that we got raided, and they were doing about $1 million a month stealing from people.
Wow.
And this is the pop-up scam that turns into the crazy stuff, the crazy hackers on your bank account, buying very illegal things on your bank account. And they were just flipping money left and right. They were stealing so much. So we had their CCTV cameras. We were watching their call center every day. And
CCTV, there are security cameras in their building.
Yes.
You hacked into those?
Yeah.
Dude, you guys are the real fucking deal.
There are some, so we have, there's a group of like 40 of us. There's some really brilliant minds, absolutely brilliant minds. And, but like, I'll tell you, for instance, on this one, so there's a person I was working with that got the initial CCTV. Then there was a second, they had multiple buildings. So there's a second building that had a CCTV. So I was watching one of the guys, and some of our software allows for us to, so the guy that was like managing the CCTV, so we didn't have the password for that yet. But I was watching him for hours and hours and hours one day, and I had a thing, it's called a keylogger. It allows you to, see their keystrokes. So he went into the CCTV, and we saw his password, copy, paste, log in, and then you get visibility. So we get to see these guys scamming. We get to see when they come in. We could see when they leave. Some of them actually slept there. And they're hiring, by the way, dude, they're hiring. This is the part that's so inhumane, in my opinion, because these call center bosses are hiring like
poor people
that are 18, 19 years old. Wow. And these people, they want to take care of their family, like legitimately. And a lot of times it could be like even human trafficking.
Yeah.
There's stories of that. But like, they just want to take care of their mom and dad.
Right.
And they've been sold, hey, come here and make this money. And they get there and they've left their family behind. And now they're scamming people for like this call center that was doing like $1 million a month. Their payroll for like 50 people was $7,500. And these kids, I call them kids because they're 18, 19. They're like on drugs. One of the kids overdosed, and his family was asking for the money that he was owed, and the bosses just like spat on them, didn't give them anything. And they're living in these terrible conditions.
Taking
with
advantage of desperate people.
Yeah.
Which is what the worst operations, the worst criminal operations around the world consistently do. Like the poaching problem in Africa. It's the same thing. It's just the poor, most desperate people trying to feed their kids that are starving. Like, do I kill this endangered elephant, or do I let my kid die?
Exactly. And it's a very, again, man, like, as I was kind of thinking about this before I got here, like, cause I've been doing this for 6 years, and this shift in what I've been doing from, prank calling them and messing with the scammers and, doing some funny videos, cause we try to bring some humor, but the gravity of the situation, man, like this is people's lives they're losing their lives here in the US. They're losing everything in the US, and you got some bosses that are making millions, and then the poor people that are the frontline guys that are risking it all for pennies.
Right.
We've tried to highlight these bosses, like they're getting smarter too, because they see the videos that we do, because we're like, we try to show everything that we can. And like this call center that was in, it's Ludhiana, which is in the Punjab area. It's kind of in between like Pakistan and India. It's on the Indian side, but it's in Punjab. And come to find out, one of the owners was literally like a congressman in the city.
No way.
And then the other owner, we got him arrested. There's actual documentation. Like, it was on the TV news, like the police raided all this stuff. It was a huge thing. And the owner, his name is Sanpreet Singh. He actually, his grandfather was the mayor of Ludhiana. So the mayor of the city and a congressman, like, you can't make, like, so they're making $1 million US
a month.
Yes. And we have so much evidence on these guys. And this is the hardest part, like what you're talking about, getting these guys in trouble, because this is a whole nother country.
And they have unlimited wealth and resources.
And what I've heard back is like, some countries will not extradite their people. They just won't, like, not as friendly with us, even if we have like slam dunk evidence. So we're dealing.
That's what CIA extradition teams are for.
Sure. Yeah. Like go get those guys. We'll show you their location.
Yeah.
But it's like, the interesting thing about it is, like, I had to learn so much about this. I went from prank calling to like, why can't we go get these guys? And they're having, like, the government's having to tell me like, hey, like, There's a whole process in India, and actually the judicial process, I guess, in India is very different than the U.S.
See, you need to start working with like some ex-paramilitary
Yeah.
like SEAL team guys and just get them to just go off. You guys fund it yourselves. They can just go kidnap these guys and drop them off in fucking the South Pole or something.
Yeah, it's like, go do an Antarctica expedition and see if the wall's out there, But like, man, it's crazy because I didn't even know. Like, I thought like you just go to CBI, which is like the FBI of India, and just tell them, hey, this is going on. Go get them. Like, don't you care? And they're like, no, this is not how it works. You have to start local, which is very weird to me. So you have to start almost backwards to build up a case for CBI to go do something. That was the feedback I was given.
That's crazy, dude.
So it took us 389 days to get this one call center. So 389 days, I had to go into the office. I had to watch them quietly. So we had like 60 to 80 computers, which that's very difficult to watch to see if somebody's getting scammed on each computer. Think about that.
They had 60 to 80 computers? Okay.
So they had different scammers in different buildings working. So you're trying to collect evidence on scams that are happening so you can build up a case, because they also want actual victims too. So if I save somebody, they're not a victim anymore.
Okay.
One of the worst things is when like we hack a scammer's computer and I go on there and there's a wire transfer for $78,000 like 2 months ago, because I'm too late. I can't do anything. I have this guy's computer, but Granny already lost everything and she can't get it back. It's just gone forever.
Right.
So you're trying to build this case against these guys. And at the end of the day, you have to have actual victims, at least 3, for them to like start working, because then you have to go back and you have to get statements. So you have to have the victim actually agree to make a statement that they've been scammed, even though we just have a slam dunk of evidence. There's all of this. And then you're working with another country. So their rules are different than ours. Yeah. And they don't extradite them to the US. I don't know why. Maybe it's not enough in their eyes, or it's not what's on everyone's radar, I guess.
The other thing I want to ask you is like, as far as devices go, like what types of devices do you typically use? Or like what kind of devices are like the most safe for protecting yourself against this kind of stuff?
Yeah. I mean, I think the biggest part is like cyber hygiene, if that makes sense. So like equate it to like brushing your teeth and flossing. Nobody likes to do it, but it's good for your health. Right. Okay. I like analogies.
Allegedly.
Yeah, allegedly. So like the way I think of it is, so when I talk about cyber hygiene, I talk about like managing your data. So like the data brokers, like figure out whatever program you want to use to like get those like taken care of, where your data is off the internet. The second thing is like email and password management. So everybody has like 20 passwords for 20 different websites, like Amazon, Target, Facebook, Instagram, whatever. Yeah. The hardest thing is, for instance, say there's a data breach. The MyFitnessPal app has a data breach. You know that one that like tracks all your fitness. I think it's MyFitnessPal. Anyway, it's like a similar thing, workout app or something like just whatever app. Let's say they have a data breach, and your password and your email is a part of that. So a hacker has your password and your email for that app. Now what they do is they take that information, they go to any other website. So they go to like Target.com. And they use that same email and password. And all of a sudden they're logged into your Target account. And your Target account has your credit card in it, because nobody likes to put in their credit card multiple times. Right. So they save it in there. And then all of a sudden someone's buying TVs and shipping it to New York at a Target to pick up using your credit card because of a data breach from another app. And that's a problem. Yeah. So that actually happened to us. I was notified by American Express about that because somebody took information from a data breach, used it on another site, had our credit card stored. So the point is, from a cyber hygiene standpoint, is you want to have different passwords for like all of these different kinds of websites. And it's kind of a difficult process, but it's not really. Like I was talking about Proton, for instance. Yeah. So like Proton Mail. So you can actually have like family kind of email accounts. So you have this encrypted email and they have a password function. So like you can go to Amazon and it'll create it'll create a crazy password for you, like 20 characters that nobody will be able to figure out.
Okay.
So that's the first step. The second step, it'll save it and encrypt it for you so you can save it.
Proton will.
Correct. So you don't have to have it memorized. Third thing, you could share it between your family members. So if you want your wife to have the Amazon password, here's the encrypted password. Now, when she goes to Amazon, it's all there in her phone, encrypted, safe, and all that. So you don't have to have one password for everything.
Right.
So then you can go to all of these different sites and use all different passwords. So if there is a data breach, you're not screwed. I hope that makes sense.
Yeah, that does make
The
sense.
other part about it is our email addresses are like our social security number nowadays. So whatever, pierogi@gmail.com, right? So let's say there's a data breach and that Gmail is screwed now because everybody knows pierogi@gmail.com. Now, what you can do with like Proton, for instance, they're called email alias. So you can create an alias.
Right.
So you have your main Proton account, and then you can create an alias literally for any website that you want. So let's say you're on Amazon, and just to keep with the theme, and you want to protect your Amazon account. You don't want to give them your real email. So you give them this alias. And now every time you log in from the alias, and it's automatically saved and all that kind of stuff. So if there is a data breach or you start getting spam to that, you can just kill that alias and create a new one. So your actual physical, or not physical, but your actual email is not messed with.
So you create a separate, like an alias email for every single login.
And it Proton automatically makes those. I think it's absolutely genius.
So, but like, when you have an email address with Proton, does it have to be at protonmail.com?
No, you can have it at like, if you had like a family domain.
You can connect a domain to it?
Yep.
So I had this guy, Robert Epstein, on the show. I don't know if you've ever heard of him. He has this this thing he's been doing for a few years where he's basically like, his whole mission is to like protect people from Google spying on you, right? And one of the biggest things that he discovered was that like they can access all of your stuff with like not just your Gmail, but like if you have like the Google Workplace like we have, he's like they can get into that easily. They not only that, but they own Nest, who makes the security cameras and all this other stuff. So it's like he was looking at me like I had 3 heads when I was telling him that I use Gmail. He's like, why the hell would you use Gmail? And I was like, I don't know. I don't think about this stuff like you do.
Yeah.
But he only uses Proton Mail.
Yeah, it's like a mental shift to kind of get out of the zombie realm of everybody uses Gmail.
Right.
And Proton's made it actually really easy. You click a single button and it moves everything over. It moves all your emails over from Gmail to your Proton. It's super easy.
So if somebody's emailing me in my old email address, you can make that forward to Proton?
Yeah, you can make it forward over if you want. And then you can move everything over just so you have a historical, like, this is an email from my grandma from 10 years ago. If you want to move all that stuff over, you can.
Oh, that's amazing.
And then they have a documents as well. So just like Google Docs, they have that. They have a file transfer, so you can securely transfer files to people. You could password protect files, all sorts of things. It's all encrypted. And you don't have, again, these are set upon like the Switzerland like data protection laws. So there's a lot of strict laws with regards to that. I know there'll probably be people that are like, oh no, if a government wants to, then they can get it. But they're not like actively scanning everybody's stuff, to sell to an advertiser. You're making
it a lot harder.
Yeah. I was in the shower singing and all of a sudden I'm getting an ad. You know what I'm saying? Like they're listening, those times when you're like, how is my phone listening to me? Because it is listening to you.
Right.
That's how like Gmail's listening and watching and scanning, and the Nest knows when you leave. The Nest knows when you come back. They all know.
Right.
So they can sell you, so they can advertise to you, and that's what they want to do.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So I would imagine that you have lots of crazy precautions that you have for like, I'm sure you don't use any Nest shit, I imagine.
I love the Nest, man. I do? Yeah, I love the Nest. Like, because at some point you have to live your life a little bit and not live in fear. So I don't live in fear of like the big bad government, watching and like, because if they want to get information, they could subpoena and get your information if they want to, or what, you know what I mean? Like if they want to, they can find a reason to. And I like unfortunately, I like the convenience of some of these things that we have. I like the convenience of going on an app and changing the temperature which we kind of talked about earlier, how like spoiled we are to be able to change the temperature or tell.
Come on Alexa. In. This is Forrest. Forrest is
What's
here.
Up, man?
He's here to find a charger. Oh, wait, you find one?
Maybe. Is that the right size?
I don't know.
We're going to check.
Let's see.
We're trying to charge Pierogi's computer so we can do some live hacking here.
Yeah, so it's like
yeah, just slim barrel.
Yeah.
Okay, give me a minute.
Okay.
Forrest will do it. He's a wizard.
Yes.
He'll figure it out.
Because a lot of them are saying incompatible.
This is the right size, but I need to find an adapter.
Yep.
You got the right brick. You just need an adapter. What about your webcam? Do you tape your webcam?
Yeah, I think like that's always. I think that's always someone's probably like number one fear is like who's watching through the camera, you know? Like,
but it's on your phone too. You have a forward-facing camera on your phone too.
Yeah, and like, what kind of embarrassing times, like what if somebody had access to my phone and I'm walking around with my shirt off or you know what I mean? Yeah. Like it can be tough.
What about phones? Are you one of those people that doesn't like iPhones or Apple stuff and only does Android? Or
I love Apple, man.
You love Apple?
Yeah.
Is Apple the most secure?
Like the tech space there's always these like wonderful debates, I guess, and everybody's got an opinion.
Yeah.
It's almost like politics sometimes, in my opinion, like this side versus that side, Droid, and
yeah, it is.
This one's more secure, this one's open source, and that.
Right.
For me, it's like, can you make my life easier? Yeah. I don't think that. I think if you're using a phone in the purpose that it needs to be used for, you're not going to get hacked. And you're not like. I think if you can do the cyber hygiene around your data and your passwords and your email, that is
the
like
basic stuff.
Yeah, that is like the most critical.
Yep. Because
people don't do that, and then they've had the same password for like 19 years.
That's me.
You need Proton will tell you, man. It'll say, I mean, even iPhone you can go into your passwords if you have them stored on your phone, and it'll tell you if they've been part of data breaches or if it's a weak password. It'll tell you.
I use a third-party app that stores all my passwords for all my websites, where it saves all of them for everything.
Yes.
So if that place ever got data breached, I'd be.
Yeah, there was one. There was who was it?
Oh, I don't know.
There was a data breach. One of the big password managers got hacked. But that's, again, at the end of the day, there's going to be the.
But
dam
Proton
that
does the
somewhere.
same thing. They manage all those passwords for you too.
Yeah, it's encrypted and all that kind of stuff. But like, I trust. Yeah, who was it? Yeah, LastPass got breached. 22. Yeah.
Shit.
Sensitive data through compromised employee account. So again,
no, wait, I have LastPass.
Well, better
don't tell people that, Steve. Jesus.
But yeah, that like, because what they're trying to get into, like for here, it says it was linked to cryptocurrency heist. So they're trying to get anything that has access to crypto. Like that's what these people want. They don't want the everyday person. They want to find, like, they're looking for something in particular. So like, do we need to worry about, we need to, like, you need to do cyber hygiene things. Like you're at the airport, don't plug in your phone into like the USB thing. Like there's a random cable laying around. Don't plug that in. Like we have cables that you can plug into any computer, any phone, and it will give you access to it. And it looks just like an iPhone charger. Yeah. I'll send you one if you want. It's incredible.
So how does it work? You plug it into any phone?
You plug it in and it works like it's charging. Like I could give you one. You would plug in your iPhone to charge and we would have access to it. Or your laptop.
Over the air.
Yes. It creates like a wireless connection back to wherever we want to connect to.
Oh my God, dude.
So you could even like Wi-Fi networks, like you could be at
airport Wi-Fi,
Starbucks. You could spoof a Starbucks connection, and then people go in. Hey, in order to use Starbucks Wi-Fi, you need to sign into your Gmail account. It's a spoof Gmail, super easy to do.
What about hotel Wi-Fi?
Hotel, same kind of thing.
So just use your phone, the tethering from your phone.
if you're paranoid about it, I wouldn't trust, obviously, the network. Don't do anything too crazy on there. You could surf the web, I guess, if you want to, but like don't go onto your bank account on the hotel network.
Right.
Like those are kind of like common sense things to do if you're accessing like super sensitive information. Tether off your phone. If you're watching the basketball game, you can use use the Wi-Fi. It's fine. But don't plug into stuff. Like if you need to charge, like sorry, just like don't plug in.
Right.
Yeah, the OMG cables. Yep.
That's it. The OMG
Yes,
cable.
sir. Those are amazing. We have like.
So how do
12 of
you
those.
use them?
Well, so what I was saying was like the guys. So Ryan Montgomery used this to hack us. That's like a bit. So I'm sitting there and we're calling scammers, and all of a sudden I see like an additional like network adapter pop up on my screen. You know, like you're watching the screen and you see something, you're like, what is that? So he went in and he plugged one of these into my USB on like in my little server room.
Yeah.
And it just pops up as another network connection. So I had some other security tools on my computer. And the unfortunate part is it just sees it as a network connection. It's not malware or anything. Like it just looks like a network connection, but he has like a tunnel back to his computer.
Right.
He starts opening my notepad and talking to me and all this stuff in like minutes. And again, it goes to, there's always going to be a way, like just something like this. You could like, think about this. You could go to like a hospital, like using those examples, because hospital actually
Swap
have
out their chargers.
They have really bad security hospitals, because a lot of them, there are like not government run hospitals, but like, you know, like local ones, like even down here in Florida, there's ones that are tied into the city and stuff like that. And they don't have great funding for security. You could go in here and you could drop a USB drive that says like sensitive, what doctor, like with a name, somebody plugs it in, and then the computer gets compromised right there without and that's where a lot of security tools are going towards now, is they're trying to look at devices that get plugged in and make sure like nothing can run off of them. So, but that's not very difficult. You just bring somebody over, drop a USB drive, and then walk away. You don't know, like they caught somebody recently for bringing a dang like biomedical or bio warfare. Did you see that from like China? It was like a student in Michigan, like two students in Michigan that are like biomed students.
When was this?
It was like past couple months.
Really?
And they brought a biochemical weapon for testing, and they illegally smuggled it into the U.S. and they're like facing charges now.
Oh my God.
And China sent them over here to do it.
See if you can find that, Steve.
I don't know if I described it well enough, but when I saw that, I'm like,
Yeah.
I mean, that's it, man. The human side of it. There we go.
Students in Michigan. The University of Michigan has become the center of a controversy involving Chinese scholars allegedly attempting to smuggle biological materials into the United States, raising concerns about the national security of foreign influence in academic institutions. 2 Chinese nationals were arrested in June 2025. Holy shit, for attempting to smuggle a potential agro-terrorism weapon, fusarium and graminarium, into the country, which could devastate crops and pose a threat to food security. Holy shit, dude.
Nobody talks about
How did I not hear about this?
Yeah. And again, you start to think about food security. You start to think about what happened with the pandemic last time, how everybody freaked out. Nobody talks about the electric grid. Nobody talks about the water supply. Those are the most vulnerable.
Most vulnerable.
And
people can hack the electric grid, right?
Here's the thing. If you start to hear anyone talking about it, that means something's already happened. When I worked in cybersecurity, this is the average for a company to find out that something's happened in their network. So like someone's hacked them. The average days is 179 days for a company with all these tools and stuff to find out they've been hacked. That's just to find out that they've been hacked. That's not to investigate, to know who did it, to know what was taken, just to even find out that something happened. So when you start to hear about anything about the grid, anything about food supply, any of that, they already know.
Well, there was that crazy story that came out a couple of years ago. Maybe it was a year ago, maybe a year and a half ago.
Yeah.
Where they found out that through just pure incompetence, I think, that the government was buying Huawei telecommunication gear and installing that on cell phone towers right near our nuclear bases.
That's another thing. That's actually a really good point, because then you start to look at, this is crazy. I was thinking about this. You made me think. You look at like manufacturing. Manufacturing in the U.S. is completely vulnerable. Like the supply chain and all that kind of stuff. That's why we're trying to fix it right now as well.
Right.
We learned some lessons from the
during
pandemic.
The pandemic, yeah.
And the hard thing is you cannot protect these devices very well. They're getting better at it from a cybersecurity standpoint that are running these supply chain and manufacturing lines and stuff like that, because they're not like your regular laptop or something, but they're connected devices that are running these machines and stuff. So protecting those, like it's kind of like having a microwave that's connected to Wi-Fi, but this is a computer that's not fully like a Windows machine or something that's connected into a supply, like a company's network. And if it goes down, the whole thing goes down. So how do you protect those? There's all sorts of things. But my point is with this are these chip manufacturers. That's why there's like such a race to like figure all that out and like make the US like try to lead in this space.
Yeah.
Because that is a huge security concern when you have chips that are being made overseas, different countries. There is actually, on one of the chips, there's like AMD and Intel. On one of the chips, there's actually a thing where you could turn the computer on via the motherboard without the person even being there. And it's built into the chip. And it's literally like a checkbox to turn it on.
And this is one that's manufactured in China?
Well, it's one of the chip companies. I think it's Intel that had it. It might be AMD, but I remember when I was working at HP at the time, that was one of like our selling points. It was called like always on.
Right.
So like if you wanted to work on XYZ employee's computer, it had this always on thing. As long as it was like connected to the internet, you could turn it on without anyone.
If I was China or Russia and the United States was buying computer chips from me, of course I would build a back door into all those computer
100%.
chips, especially if they're giving those to all the people that work for the FBI and the CIA and the Congress, whatever, anybody in government. And that's exactly what we did with the Promise software. Remember you ever heard of the Promise software? It was the first software that was developed. I think it was in like the 80s, early 80s, where they basically needed to put all the court records, all like the legal documents around the country on like an online database.
Okay.
So that all the courts could like just keyword search for specific files on specific people, because people were like slipping through the cracks all the time. So when they developed this, we started selling it to other countries so they could use it, and we built a back door into it so we could spy on their government.
Yeah, very smart.
So that's crazy. If they're, that's why I think Taiwan is such a like a important thing for this whole thing with Taiwan and the race to get it, like with the tug of war with the US and China.
Yeah,
on Taiwan.
We have so many critical components. Now, I'm not saying that everything's going to be manufactured here in the US, but like we have so many critical components that are they're manufactured overseas. Not to say that every country is like doing all these bad things, but you want to have a critical look at the stuff. Like even every hard drive, like there's big companies that buy hard drives for servers and stuff like that are going in our cloud environments from overseas. Like, and if there's a shortage, so we need to look at that better. And that's like that's a Trojan horse to get in through actual chip manufacturers and hardware components and things like that. So it's going to be interesting because there's a ripple effect if one thing goes down, man, whether it's grid or food supply or water supply.
Right.
Think about like the local municipality or whatever that runs the water for a small city and they get hacked.
Yeah. Oh my God. Imagine how much that would fuck shit up, dude.
Yeah. Like that stuff's scary to me.
You can't get clean water anymore.
Yeah.
Now what?
It's tough.
I think we take a lot of things for granted in the US.
Yeah.
A lot of things, like life's so easy here. And we don't live in a war-torn part of the world.
Yeah.
And I think we get comfortable because we're surrounded. We have these two big oceans on each side of us, so we're not worried about people like storming the beach of New Jersey.
Yeah.
But now in today's day and age, that's like, fuck, man, the tides are turning. Yeah. And it's scary to think like what's going to happen with technology. Like a guy really laid it out to me perfectly before on this podcast, a former CIA guy. He was explaining to me this exact thing, and he was saying like, if the U.S. is no longer the global superpower, say like China or something, like their GDP and everything overtakes us as far as like military superpower and GDP alone, and we become number 2 or number 3. Well, now what happens is when your kid is born and you're a U.S. citizen, now you have to teach your kid a second language. Like you almost have to, if you want to, like in any of these other countries, and you have a kid and you don't teach them English, they're automatically at a disadvantage.
Yes.
So like that's not something we think about in America. We're not worried about teaching our kids a second language so they can survive and like thrive.
Yeah.
But those are things you just don't think about.
Yeah, we're the, like even I don't know what the median income is in the US, for instance, but like, what we consider to be poor or downtrodden here is pretty dang good in a lot of other countries. And a lot of times too, like we got it good when people are worried about whatever we fight about in today's day and age here in the US. We've got like these non-fundamental things where people are fighting for, like, for instance, I was talking about like the scammers in Kolkata when the pandemic hit, their unemployment rate was 45%.
Wow.
Like, do you know the amount of chaos in any big city if it was 45% unemployment rate?
Right.
Just, it would be anarchy.
Oh yeah.
And we have anarchy when people don't like who gets voted in and, like, or whatever's happening.
Right.
We have people doing stuff.
Right.
And like real hurt and real pain that people are feeling, like over in India or whatever. Like imagine that if that hit the States, it would be terrible. And like, that's why I try to look at, all of this stuff from a different lens, because yes, we are extremely fortunate, and it's not some guy, like the approach we take is not, just some dude making YouTube videos to make money. What we do is we're trying to help people, and we try to even help. Like, for instance, we had a guy in Kolkata that I was on the phone with him, and he thought I was like a grandpa, and he started like crying on the phone, and he said, "Hey, I don't want to do this. I just started. Like, I'm really sorry." Like, a lot of them are BSing, but this guy was like very legit. He was just now getting married. So, and this isn't a pat on my back or anything. I'm just kind of telling you the story. Like, we paid for, like, he quit scamming. We paid for him to have, like we got him a gift for his wedding, and then we paid for him for an apartment complex, or for apartment for he and his wife for like a whole year.
In Kolkata?
Yeah. And I don't know, it touched a certain part in my heart, because you can tell when someone's being genuine about something or just BSing. Like a lot of the scammers, they'll be like, I'll tell them where they're located. They're like, "We're not here. We're in Pakistan. We're in Lahore, Pakistan." And you're like, "You're not in Pakistan. I know exactly where you are." And then you have a guy like this, his name was Karan, and he was sending me pictures. He got a new job. He was sending me pictures of he and his, wife after the ceremony. Both of his parents died. One of them died during the pandemic. Another one died just, I don't know, sickness or whatever. I don't know the whole story. But he showed me all of these things that were going on in his life. And it brings like the realism, like the gravity of the situation to me. Like, there are people over there. They're not bad people, right? Not all people from India are bad or scammers or whatever.
Right.
There are people that are just trying to survive.
Sure.
And I try to take a lens, like it's heavy, like on these calls, because we're, joking and doing all this stuff. But like there are people.
If you were him, if you were in his situation with his life, would you do anything? Would you do different things differently? Who knows?
I mean, as a family man, like with a wife and with kids, like that's my number one priority. I would do anything to fight for my family.
Right.
And like I can't imagine like even from like clean water and air conditioning. Like, we have such good lives here.
Yeah.
Such good lives. And so I don't know, that's one of the approaches I try to take, is one of humanity. Like, people are people. I try to see people like how God sees them. And we are all children of God. And I try to see through that lens, no matter what I may be feeling. I try to see differently, if that makes sense.
Yeah,
right?
That's a good thing to do.
And call it spiritual or whatever, but like I try to see just differently. I do get frustrated at these guys. I get mad because I see the stuff that happens, but I try to also, they're people too. So anyway.
Totally.
We had a conversation in our office about dead internet theory. Have you heard about that before?
Yeah. Well, explain it to people who haven't heard of it.
So this is my best explanation of it, because my guys did a video on it, just like internally in the office. And it's essentially that companies and governments have created a bunch of bots to talk with people on the internet, and what people think they're communicating with, where they think it's a real person, but it's just something to farm engagement. So whether it's in the comment section of a video or an article on CNN, and you doom scroll to the bottom and there's like comments for whatever reason on like news articles, and people are like, this is what I think about that. And it's not a real person. And people think that they're engaging with the internet, and people think they're engaging with people, but they're engaging with corporate interest and government interest of how the governments and corporations want to shape you to think and interact and react and all that. So that's how I took it. And it's like 99% bots. So they went to like Facebook and X and all these other places and saw that like the numbers of actual users, it's way less than what they report to everybody.
Wait, that's real though?
Oh yeah. Like the amount of users on Facebook, like I don't know how the numbers of how much they report in the whatever hundreds of millions or billions, but it's really like 40% less because they're all bots.
Dude, the bot thing is blowing my mind lately because I've been noticing, especially over the past year, just more and more bot behavior in comment sections, specifically on YouTube, where I can go in and specific videos I'll notice, you can see that their cadence is all the same. The cadence and how they talk, certain words they use, and how they'll be like, just like the structure of the sentences, you can tell.
Yeah.
And there's so much of it. And I always want, it has to be, I know there's foreign governments that are trying to manipulate discourse in different countries. Like they would have reasons to do that. Right. But like, it's just the internet comment section is such a cauldron of bullshit. It's so hard to parse through it. And so much of it seems like, it just seems disingenuous and seems not natural.
Yeah. Yeah. It's like, I want to think like you're talking about like systems that are being put in place, like AI, for instance, and like, but you can tell when it's not a real person that's written. Like there's even AI that there's like, I won't name the company because I'm not going to put them on blast like that, but they were actually writing like AI articles and posting them as like original articles on the internet. And then they were utilizing like comments and just this whole thing that we're talking about to boost on Google rankings and all that kind of stuff.
Wow.
So they get more advertiser money and things like that. But they were writing pretty much all AI articles, which are like, that's fine, I guess, but it's so that they could pump out more things quicker and get more advertisement money and clicks and all that kind of stuff.
That's so gross.
And then like at the end of the day, like who do you trust? Like who do you trust as the news source? How do you trust that this is even a real person that's reporting this?
Right.
And then
people just do things for money now.
Yeah. And it's that kind of freaks me out as I'm saying that, because it's like you're in this reality that somebody's created for you of like this article that's written by a computer that's maybe based off of a couple nuggets of fact or something, or maybe opinion. And then the comments aren't even real people. So you're engaging in a complete,
it's the Truman Show.
Yeah. We're living in it, man.
Yeah. And where does that go? That goes to like books and movies, ultimately being like, you take somebody wants to make a movie, ask the AI, hey, make me a super engaging, compelling movie that's going to smash box office numbers and do well. And then you're engineering from like, you're reverse engineering it from like what's going to be good, make good money, whatever. And there's no art or soul in anything anymore. It's just all engineered to make money and get more attention from people.
Yeah. And I think
that's crazy.
I think too, like, I think what's going to happen, especially even in like content creation, I know we've been talking about scams and stuff like that, but we also make content, and like, I think that true content creators, that they have a genuine connection with their audience and not a manipulated or fake or whatever AI driven, a lot of these faceless channels. It's not even a real person, and they're just putting in things.
Yeah.
Those will always rise to the top. The true genuine connection, whether it's news or whether it's content, like the true connection with the audience will always win out.
Totally.
I feel like, because you go and look at like ChatGPT. I've been spending way too much time on ChatGPT. My wife and I are like constantly.
Have you used Grok?
I have.
I heard Grok's better.
I've heard it as well. Unfortunately, they put Grok in the Tesla now, so you can talk to Grok in the Tesla while you're driving. You can talk to Grok.
Oh my God, I had no idea.
I'm pretty sure they just put that in the update.
That's insane.
Yeah,
I think I don't know if it's better or not. I haven't used Grok. I've used ChatGPT more, but Grok's slower for sure.
I personally it's not there yet. I want to automate my life better. So for instance, I want to be able to put inputs in to optimize my day, for instance. Like I want to be able to get 6 things done today, and here's what my schedule is, or my typical schedule. And maybe I was late. Oh yeah, there we go.
Grok is now available in Tesla cars, built with certain limitations and requirements, obviously.
Yeah.
Well,
I think I've driven with my knees too many times in the self-driving mode, so I don't know if they gave that to me. I don't think they trust me yet.
Well, that's funny. They can give you a score based on how good of a driver you are.
Oh yeah,
what kind of stuff you
it
get.
looks at your eyes and stuff while you're
That's
driving.
fucking scary, dude.
Yeah.
I'm not down with that.
It's got a little camera at the top. So like based upon, so you can put in the full driving, and I've typically done that with like if I need to open up like a sauce packet, you know, from Chick-fil-A or something, like, and then put it back down, you know. But I actually like driving just the regular because I enjoy driving.
Yeah.
So it's like one of my favorite things.
Yeah.
You know, interstate and all that kind of stuff. And Teslas are fun to weave in and out. So
yeah.
So if you look away for a second, like people trying to text and drive, there's no way you can do that. You cannot do that.
I watched a video on Instagram yesterday of a dude playing a video game on his screen while the car was driving him down the highway.
Okay, well, he must
have
broken
hacked
the
it,
terms
maybe?
of service or something.
He had like a PS5 controller.
Yeah.
And he was like playing Call of Duty or something.
That's funny. Yeah,
that must have not been. Maybe it was AI. I don't know.
It may have been, but it's, you know, when I think about it, I'm excited to see where like technology is going to drive, because technology is exponential. And what I mean by that, the leaps and bounds that it makes, like when we're, you know, who would have thought, you look at iPhone, I think it was released, 2007?
Yeah.
Maybe?
Yep.
And even like supercomputers and quantum computing and all these things that are happening right now. And the leaps are just crazy leaps. So what AI is going to do, from cars, autonomous driving, the taxis and all that kind of stuff, to the robots, like, you know, my guys at the office, they'll laugh at me because I'm like, I'm getting that dang robot. I'm getting the robot in my house. It's going to go get my groceries and all that stuff. But like, I think there's going to be really great uses for technology to make our lives easier, but not to take over our lives. I know that's what everybody's fear is, but I think there's going to be a good balance.